Hello, welcome. This week on Dead Does a Thing. Dead Does a Thing. Thanks for coming. So we're trying our hand again at Steel Soul mode. I actually completed this run a few days ago now. I want to say maybe 3 or 4 days. Kind of put off doing the commentary track a little bit, but here we are now. Better late than never. So I do have the live split program in the upper right hand corner of the screen. It is not 100% accurate. I need to do some tweaking and working to figure out what I need to do to get it working properly. So most of this run is going to be very similar to the last upload. Basically, a lot of things are just done better. By the way, I found a trick there where if you pogo all the things, when you land, it won't stun lock you. I've never seen anyone else do it before. But FYI, I am playing on the most current patch of Hollow Knight, whereas most speedrunners do not. So I'm not sure if it's a current patch thing, if it's an old patch thing. But I think it's a neat trick. It's kind of inconsistent. And I have actually done it before, just pogoing on the last one and then just not getting stun locked when I land. I don't know exactly what causes it to work, but it's a neat thing that I've kind of been experimenting with. And sure, it's not going to save a buttload of time, but you know, every second counts in a speed run. So, and speaking of every second counting here, yes, I did take an additional minute to go grab Fury of the Fallen and stop and collect some additional geo. The geo is to open up the very first stag station. Fury of the Fallen I had actually planned to incorporate into the run, but I kind of chickened out, and I'm kind of glad that I chickened out because this turned out to be my best run. So had I been using Fury of the Fallen, where it requires you to be at 1 HP in order to gain a damage boost, I probably would have died killing the run. So yeah, a lot of the run is going to be very similar. Here we are back in the Forgotten Crossroads. The trick here is mainly luck, but I kind of messed up the landing. If you down bounce, you can prevent the stun lock. But you could hear me destroy the thing. I was just like a fraction of a second too late. So, you think I'll get off the double kill? Hell yeah. Love the double kill. The new addition to the run, we have to make sure that we have at least 50 geo before we get to the stag station. If we don't have 50 geo, we stop and pick up one of these geo caches just to get us there. I don't actually utilize this stag station properly in this run because you're supposed to warp back to it, and it's just my bad, you know. Not only am I accustomed to an old run that does things out of order and improperly, I'm used to it and still am human and make mistakes. But hopefully I'll fix it in future runs, and the plan is to get used to doing it correctly. I just gotta practice doing it correctly, and then muscle memory will take over. So we're down to 2 health here, and I did not equip Fury of the Fallen. And I think at this point I had actually forgotten if I had equipped it or not. So it's like, do I get hit or do I heal? I don't know. So here I actually don't stop and heal because I'm like, I don't know if I have it equipped. I forgot. So whatever. We'll just play the game. That's kind of part of my problem when I'm doing these runs is that these small mistakes get in my head and kind of mess with me. And I'm like, well, I'm going to restart this run anyways. So I'll just practice fighting this boss and then I'll restart the run. But then things start going well. So it's like, well, now I don't want to restart the run. Now I want to continue. Pulse Knight is down. About 5 minutes in a run. I like having the timer there, even if it's not perfect. And it is a little bit distracting at times, even though, like, in my perspective, because, like, in the recording, the timer shows up on the screen, like, over the game. But when I'm actually playing, it's off to the right on, like, a separate monitor. So it's not obscuring my view when I'm actually playing, but it's still in my peripheral, so I can see the digits moving out of the corner of my eye. And at times that messes with me because I want to look over and make sure it's still going. Make sure that I'm using this thing called auto split. So right here when I get Vengeful Spirit, it did that automatically. I was like, okay, we detected that you got Vengeful Spirit, so we're gonna lock in this split and move on to the next one. 100% of the splits do it without any kind of input from me. Like, it even starts and stops at the end without me touching it. There is one that does mess up, and it's the Resting Ground split. I'll try and point it out later when I get there. So I do pull this trick off. Hell yeah, I love that. And then I mess up this trick here with the down bounce. Get hit. Supposed to pogo off of him, but I missed it. That went well. That went as good as it could have. And getting hit, like, I can get hit up to 4 times here. It doesn't matter because we're about to bench. Like, we have a forced bench here. Like, this is non-optional to sit on this bench. So I'm back to full health. I've got Soul Catcher equipped on to the green path. Lately I've been trying to do this next room a little bit differently, which is what I do here, and it doesn't go perfectly. I actually fall a little bit right there. That's fine. I'll practice it more and I'll get it perfect in later runs. This run was not, again, it was not about being perfect. It was more an experimentation to try out the live split timer to see how well it worked. Get some data on that so I can correct it. But mostly it's because I had a variation in the route that I wanted to try, which you'll notice deviates after I defeat the Watcher Knights. Because in my previous run, when it came to the Dreamers, it went Watcher Knights, and then Umu, and then Hera, which is the Deep Nest Dreamer. So technically it's Lurian, which is the City Dreamer, and then Monomon, which is the Teacher's Archives teacher, and then Hera. So in this route, I do them a little bit differently. You'll see later when it comes up. It's not huge, but the main part is that I no longer go through Queen's Garden. By the way, that was the first time that I've ever successfully done that fireball skip. Every other time I've always had to rely on the mosquito pogo. So, hype. Yay. I did it. Guys, we did it. I tried this fireball skip here and have no earthly idea how they do that one. So, I'll have to continue practicing that one. And the one trick that I've never even tried once is called the Queen's Garden skip, which is where you encounter the acid pool separating, I believe it's Fog Canyon from Queen's Garden, and you kind of act like you're about to dash into, you're kind of about to jump into the acid, and then you dash towards the little lip of the pool, and then use crystal dash to get all the way across underneath the spikes without touching the acid water. I don't know why I've never tried it. It's not because I'm scared. I think it's just because it's so late in the run. Here we have a good Vengefly fight, which seems rare for me now. It's not perfect, but it's good. It was faster than last time. A perfect Vengefly fight is 1 up hit, 3 fireballs, dead immediately without just 1 jump, not even touching the ground. Here we have a terrible double Moss Knight fight. This is one of the worst I've had in a long time, and I'm glad that it went so badly. And I'll tell you why. Because here I'm down to 2 health, and I'm down to 1 health, and I don't have soul to heal. So I'm forced to go into the Hornet fight with 1 hit left. I have no option. Like, I can stop and get some soul, but I'm gonna waste time. And if I waste time, is it really worth doing the entire run again to see if I can save time? So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna go fight go fight Hornet, see what happens, press my luck. But I think you know just by looking at the timer in this video that Hornet doesn't get the better of me. But wouldn't it be funny if like Hornet beat me and the rest of this video was just like a black screen and silence? That'd be a master level troll. But now I've ruined that joke, so I can't do that to you now. So I did heal and I did get hit. And that's Hornet. Just as last time, we grab the Mothwing Cloak and do our little bench skip back to the Forgotten Crossroads. So again, my goal here, I'm still doing the Fragile Strength thing. So the goal is to get 686 Geo before we make it to not Fog Canyon, Fungal Wastes. So I need about 83 Geo. Quick little pit stop, grab our Geo. I promise I'm gonna have lots of things to say later in the run, lots of interesting new bits of information here and there, but for right now it's kind of a lot of samey. There are some amazing fights in this run. Far from perfection, but progress. I'm all about the progress. I'm very hyped on it. So that was very good. That was a near perfect drop. No acid. Only 1 stun lock. stopping to get fragile strength, and then also stopping to equip it because it's going to be a long time before we use another bench, which is crazy to me to not only be playing Steel Soul mode mapless, but also like benching so rarely. So that was a mistake, but I'm not even mad about that because this particular room was the bane of my existence for a long time. So it's like, I'll allow that mistake. It's fine. So here we have a pretty good Shroomel Ogre battle. And if you notice, picking up the Charm Notch gives you a full heal. So you can take that into account to your fight. You can save your soul or you can use your soul in order to defeat them without having to worry about needing to heal after, because the Charm Notch will heal you. So made a little mistake there by going the wrong way, but I've kind of corrected it. I just don't get to practice that room very often, so sometimes I mess it up. In the previous run, this is where I made the 2 huge mistakes by dropping into the acid, so I kind of go a little bit slower, trying to make sure that I don't do that again. And here we are about to enter the Mantis Village and pick up the Mantis Claw, which is, in my personal opinion, where the run starts to actually get interesting. About 15, 16 minutes into the run. Because we're going to have dash, we're going to have wall jump, and we can actually start to get to where, you know, we have more interesting mobility. So I do not attempt to even try and do that pogo trick to get up on the 2nd level, because it kind of requires 2 of those flying mantises, and I noticed there was only 1 down there, so I'm just like, well, taking the long way. My next run upload is going to be completely different from this one, like almost entirely. I think pretty much starting from this point, like everything before this is pretty much set in stone, besides maybe some small movement improvements, but like the actual route pretty much has to be the same. But I'm gonna have to stop picking this Wanderer's Journal up and probably just have to go a different direction. So I'll figure it out and we'll see. I mess up really badly here. This is one of the worst mistakes of the run, is because I'm trying to do a new path, but it's like, this isn't the time to be practicing a new method. Like, the time to practice a new method is not during a run. So that was my mistake. Kind of a combination of boredom and curiosity. There is at least one other pretty big mistake in this run that costs about 20 to 30 seconds. I'll point it out when it happens. Actually, it's going to be pretty obvious, but I'll still talk about what was going on in my head and why I made the mistake. So here we're moving on to Deep Nest. Could optimize the movement in that run. I'm waiting too late to dash after I bounce on the mushrooms. So I do think Deep Nest for the most part goes really well. I need to stop going left in this room. Start going right. Right is faster. Kind of the problem with learning to do things the wrong way is you get used to doing them the wrong way. And it's way harder to correct it than if you just learn to do it the correct way. Now we're approaching the Deepness Spa, where I'm going to stop and equip the sports room, which is another thing that's going to be cut from the run because it's completely unnecessary. I just do it because I have the open trim notch, not because I need sports room for any reason. Double hit there. That sucks. I've kind of optimized the movement there a little bit. Could still improve it, but better than last time. And then here is where I've really gotten more practice, is doing this little King's Idol spider arena. I think it really shows that I've improved on how to fight these guys. So, but you be the judge. You let me know what you think. If you saw the last one, because I kind of got cornered and almost died in the last one. Where here, I kind of learned my lesson. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let them have the upper hand. The mistake I make here, though, is that I'm not using my soul. I should be fireballing. And then this guy just, I can't get him to come down. Accidental fireball waste. Which I believe I do again right here. Because I had pressed B to heal. And I didn't hold it. So he just launches the fireball. And I'm like, well, god damn it. I really wanted to heal. So on our way to go pick up the tram pass, we're now pretty much done in Deep Nest. I think this is my favorite room in all of Deep Nest. Which, I mean, is a pretty low bar, because there's not a whole lot to like in Deep Nest. But just something about the aesthetic of this room, I think is pretty cool. And I really like these enemies. I like to fight them. I like to fight the things they spit out. So, doing our bench warp back to the beginning of Deep Nest. And by the way, this file select screen, I've also changed that around a lot. So the next run, my first slot is going to be open, and that's going to be where I'm going to create my new file from now on. So I've backed up my previous files that I want to keep, but they don't all need to be on the menu. So it's going to save some time just by not having to flip through the menus and potentially making a mistake and selecting the wrong file or anything. So, still stopping to pick up this pale ore over here. Unfortunately, this part might be cut from future runs as well, just because of the time that it takes. But I do think I've gotten better at fighting these guys. Like, I'm pleased with that. I did get hit 3 times, but adequate. And now we are on our way to the City of Tears. So right there, I was stopping to try and heal because I'm like, oh, I'm about to die. But I didn't have enough soul, so I had to get some more before I could heal. So I'm kind of worried here. Kind of scared. I'm like, what if I am on my way back here and they just trap me? And it's just kind of a gamble you have to take, and I can't believe that that happened. I was trying to hit one of them for soul and accidentally slid down the wall. I do think this room goes much better this time. I've gotten some practice in. Previous run, this was where I made a huge mistake at the bottom of this room where I fell like maybe 1/8 of the room. This time I didn't have any fall. No mistake. And I actually got the name of this guy wrong in the previous commentary. I called him the Glorious Husk. His name is the Gorgeous Husk. So my apologies on that. I think also I had called the Monarch Wings the Mothwing Cloak a couple times. I know the difference between the two. They just both start with M-O. So my mind just pulls a dumb every once in a while. Onto the King Station, Stag Station, where we gotta stop and get the Hollowness seal hidden up above. First we gotta unlock the Stag. Third try ain't bad. I can do it on the first try. Definitely done it on the first try, just not when y'all are watching. That's not how shit works. You guys are watching, third try is good enough. This part's going to be significantly changed in future runs. Not going to be able to go this way anymore. Too much time. So this is where my life split does not work properly. Because when I enter the resting grounds, it's supposed to split the time and go to the Dream Nail split. But it does not. So I actually have to do it manually. Which this, honestly, for one that's not going to work properly, this is probably the best one for it to do it on. Because not really much is happening in this part of the run. So here's where I realize it, and then I press the split button manually. Right now. So I'm still not amazing at this part. Still not trying to do it too fast. Also, I saw another speedrunner do a really cool trick at this part that hopefully I'll be able to implement later. We'll see. I'd really like to show it to you though. It's not a hard trick to do, but it has a prerequisite. So now we have the dream nail. I have cut the stag station from the run, so instead I just go grab dream shield and then quit out. And now we are on to my favorite part of the run. I know, I'm kind of a bully. I'm sorry. I don't mean to murder all the things. They're just in my way. I should have hit that lever, and I didn't. It always occurs to me a second after it's relevant, because it's like, if it takes a second to go back and hit the lever, I've already wasted more time than it would save, because it only saves about 1 second to hit the lever. So you really have to just hit it on the way. I only stop to kill this guy when he becomes a problem, because obviously it's faster to not have to kill him, but it just depends if he's gonna follow you. That just worked out. Had I been facing the other way, I would have fallen off the platform from getting knocked back, but I just happened to turn around, so when I got knocked back, I got knocked in the direction I needed to go. So again, here we need 1050 geo for the nail upgrades, and then we need 1800 for the Lumafly lantern from Sly, just not too much later in this run. So in combination, we need about just under 3000 geo. Not counting stags or bench tolls, which that usually can just be made up from the kills that you have to have. Because I'm pretty sure Soul Warrior gives you something like 200 geo if you're going to get the Desolate Dive. Which in future runs gonna have to be cut as well. I'm gonna miss my dive, my temporary invulnerability and huge damage output. It's a lifesaver. But gonna have to stop relying on that.
Jonsha. Garadel Akari. Vendasu.
So if you have a favorite NPC,
Jonsha.
who's your favorite NPC?
Garadel Akari.
I think mine is not counting Hornet. I don't know. I don't really consider Hornet an NPC because there's really no point where you can just stop and casually interact with her. There was that little fountain cutscene, but that's like part of the story. And then later there's the part in Ancient Basin where you encounter her. But neither of those are optional. Like if you're going through those parts, you have to interact with her. Plus she's a boss and she's part of the core story. So as far as like actual NPCs go, I would go with probably Sly. I think Sly is pretty awesome. Oro and Mato are also pretty great. The nail masters, they teach you the nail arts. I like all of the nail masters. I remember to hit that elevator lever, so I'm happy about that. And here is where the run gets interesting. Slight little elevator shenanigans. So I realized I gotta save my grubby friend. The good old 1-2. Nail fireball dead. More elevator shenanigans. I don't know what's up with me in elevators in this run. Just getting all kinds of confused with the elevators. So that went really well. But here is one of the best parts of the entire run. Brace yourselves. Was that like a 7-second fight? It was a blink and you'll miss it fight. And this upcoming room also goes extremely well. But I do get a little scared here and stop to heal just in case it doesn't. I love that little double tap where I hit him while I'm standing and then jump up and hit him again. That was so awesome. Kind of scared here. Only got 2 health. Don't have time to stop and heal. So I just have to do the room well. This part kind of pisses me off because I get the charm. I stop and heal. I'm like, okay, as long as I don't get hit, I'm fine. Immediately gets hit. Whatever. We have soul we can collect here, so it's fine. Just re-heal. This fight also goes quite well. Spoiler alert. So the fight started at 35:56 on the timer. So let's see how long it takes. So that was about 15 seconds on the first phase. And phase 2 is going to start at about 3630. Done. So that was about 9 seconds. So very fast Soul Master fight. Now we just gotta make it out of here. Get to the chopper, bitches. We've got a plan for extraction. Well, I do this room much faster because I don't stop to hit the lever. I don't stop to kill the other guys. I'm just like desolate dive, desolate dive. I do stop to grab some soul and the Hollowness seal. I don't stop and fight these guys. I learned from my mistakes last time. Way faster to just dip out of here. And wasn't really all that unsafe. Like, yes, had I made a mistake and not done the wall traversal properly, I would have been in trouble. But fortunately, it worked out. And here we have the return to the bench that I don't actually use this time. Which was actually, do I use the bench? I don't know. I don't think I do. Yeah, I do. I'm thinking of a different run, a later run that is not going to be uploaded. Because I wasn't able to finish that run. I made a big oopsie and it nuked the entire run. And it wasn't a death, by the way. So, my least favorite room in the game. Still messing it up. But I gotta go get this simple key. It is imperative to get Isma's tier. Otherwise, we have to pay 950 geo to buy a simple key from Sly. Because the only other simple keys are fairly out of the way. I believe there's one in the ancient basin down near the monarch wings. And I don't even stop and open that stag. Like, I don't fucking need you. Get out of here with your stag toll bullshit. I'm gonna walk. By walk, I mean take the elevator. Don't judge me. It's my fault I was raised this way. Alright, so now we're going to kill the Gru's mother, save Sly, talk to our lady Salubra. Five hits. Gotta love fragile strength. Not a very worthwhile fireball there. It just didn't work out in my favor. But still able to kill all the Grizzlings fairly quickly. Let's get some love for some Salubra in the comments. She is the MVP. While she's not my favorite NPC, she has probably the most utility of, I mean, debatably. Sly is also pretty OP. So now returning back to the stag to go to town to get the Lumafly lantern to continue on to Crystal Peak. So this is why it was kind of pointless to open the stag in the beginning of the run, is because I haven't used it to return here. That's the point of opening it. So it was just a little bit of wasted time in the beginning of the run, but it's fine. I'll iron out the kinks in the future. Don't really have any money for anything additional, so I'm just gonna dip out. I do think Crystal Peaks also goes quite well. Pretty much this entire run, aside from one big mistake later in the run, pretty much this entire run goes very well. Here's where I've changed the route and stop and get this little grubby friend here, because Madge would be mad at me if I didn't save him, because he's right there. Then we got another little grubby friend. Can't let Madge down. Gotta save him. And now we're in the Crystal Peaks. Oh yeah. So I love doing that. Killing both the miners, group them up with a fireball, and then hit them with a nail and kill two at once. Kind of forgot to wall jump on that vertical conveyor, and I also wall jump on the wrong side of the room here, when I should have been wall jumping on the inner right side. Get hit here, but I still get mostly good cycle on the crystal beans. And then get that on my first try. Just getting lucky. Well, I kind of had a bit of practice. One of my in-between runs, I think it took me like 30 tries to get up there. So, I'm very fortunate to get it on my first try that time. Very good Crystal Guardian fight. Top tier. Kind of slow in this room, unfortunately. I missed the cycle where you don't have to dodge any beams, but it'll be fine. Another thing we'll figure out later and perfect. So, the Crystal Heart ability is non-optional for the run, because you have to have it. Like, there's two options to beat the game. You either can do it with just Crystal Heart, or you can do it with Crystal Heart plus Isma's Tear. But if you don't get Isma's Tear, then you have to learn how to do the Queen's Garden skip, which is very dangerous. Can take a lot of health every time you mess it up, it takes away 1 health. So you only have a few chances to even try it. Unless you just go continually stock up on soul, which wastes time. You'll see it in a future run, or if you watch other speedrunners, you'll see them do the Queen's Garden skip. It looks fun, it looks easy, it's not. Though I haven't spent much time trying it. I've tried it maybe like 3 times. It is not as easy as it looks. Which is weird because I thought the shade skip looked really hard, but I did that on like maybe my 2nd or 3rd try. Maybe like my 4th or 5th try. But the shade skip really isn't all that hard. So if you don't know what the shade skip is, that's where you are in normal mode and you intentionally die right next to Salubra. There's that rightmost guy just underneath where you fight Gru's mother. You let him hit you until he kills you after benching next to Salubra. So you respawn just outside of Salubra's shop, and then you go and aggro your shade. You get him to notice your presence, so he starts following you, trying to attack you. And he follows you over to Salubra, and you hit him once, and then you kind of do like a wall jump and dash, and then pogo off his head, and then you can make it up to like the secret entry above Salubra's shop by pogoing off his head. And then that's how you make it to the resting rounds really early in a normal run of the game. But you cannot do that in Steel Soul because you can't die and create a shade. So that's why we go to Deep Nest early to get the tram pass. That is our earliest way to get to resting rounds that I currently know of. So I know I was talking about something else the entire time, but that was a really good Descending Dark room. I was pretty happy at this point of the run when I did that. I was like, oh fuck. I really hope this replay gets uploaded because that was the best. And here we are. So back to City of Tears. I'm gonna learn from my previous mistake, which I talked at length about. Kind of one of the best parts of doing these commentary tracks is it kind of cements it in my mind, because talking about it to you guys, it's like, well, now that I've spent 30 minutes talking about this one mistake, there's no way in hell I'm gonna make it again. This room goes a lot better, and then I go right past Lim, like the pro that I am, straight into the Royal Waterways. Still going to do the mass shard thing. This is gonna have to get cut. We're not going to have the time to do this in future runs if we're actually going to be any kind of record contender. But for now, I'm really just trying to experiment, trying to figure out what works. Learn better paths, better routes. And again, this scrub is dedicated to Madge. Unfortunately, this scrub is cut from the run as of now. So, sorry little grubby friend, that will be your last rescuing. But you have been rescued, so live a nice life. Enjoy your freedom. Maybe Madge is looking for a roommate. Just go submit an application. And on to the Dung Defender. One of my favorite fights. But I will say this one could have gone a little bit better. Now we're about 2/3 of the way through the run. Dung Defender down. Just gotta go grab Isma's Tear, and that's gonna be the last of the optional things. And then we just have the, after Isma's Tear, we pretty much just have the Dreamers left to do. I forgot, I do go and pick up the masks, but that doesn't take very long. Because I kind of group it all at the end of the run where I can just swoop in and do them all simultaneously. Which was the original goal of even adding it to the run. To do it at a point where it's going to be the least time consuming. But at a point where it's still useful before the Dreamer fights. And before the Hollow Knight. I do think this part definitely went better than last time. Because last time I got hit by one of these bubble guys. He was just in a better spot there. And I have an accidental dash there. Whatever, it's fine. That definitely went better. I didn't stop and kill those guys, so that saves time. I get so lucky here. That flying guy just barely missing me, but I get unlucky with his javelin. But don't really need the health, so I'm not even going to stop and heal because there's nothing left to encounter. Because we're just going to save and quit out here anyways. So now I need to get to a stag station. So what do you think? Do you think I make the mistake and go to city storerooms to the stag station? Or do you think I go the proper way to King's Station? It looks like I go the proper way for once. I realized that I need to sell at Lim because that was the mistake I made last time. I even did the elevator trick right. Look at me learning things. I'm a neural net processor, a learning computer.
Velmi Ardred. War's son, Velmi Ardred.
That was a Terminator reference. Alright, so we need about 3,000 or so for the mask. For the full Sly mask. I also have a better way to do that now too. So even though this is progress over last time, I can still do it even better. Like every attempt we're learning things. It kind of sucks that every attempt is so long and it's easy. It's like so much information that it's easy to forget a small detail of how to do something. But practice is progress.
Oh, Papa.
We do have another potentially very large mistake coming up. It could have been much worse than it turned out to be. When I made the mistake in my head, I was like, oh my god, I just ruined the entire run. But in actuality, it wasn't that bad. I was able to turn it around and fix it very quickly without too much damage done. Definitely a few seconds lost. And it is in this next room after this one. So what I should have done is continue going left and go and speak to the Grubfather. But instead, I get in my old groove of the starting of the run and fall all the way down. Because the plan was Grubfather, Brooding Malek, and then the giant snake smasher area with the last mass fragment. So I'm able to turn it around really quickly and get back into this area. And then I'm trying to figure out how to fix it in my head. It's like, would it be faster to go get the snake smasher thing with the, I don't know what they are. They're like Garapedes, something like that. Or would it be faster to beat Brooding Malek and then go to the Grubfather and then go to the Garapede area? So that's kind of why I don't do amazing on this fight, is because I'm trying to calculate in my head what's going to be the best route. Still not a terrible fight. But it's kind of funny how you notice that a big mistake leads to smaller mistakes from trying to correct the big mistake. So I decided to go to the Grubfather. But I gotta make this whole climb again. This is the biggest time loss. But it's either kill the run and start over, or press on and just assess the damage later. I'm always in favor of trying to salvage it than just immediately going to scrap. So, and it turns out that it's a good thing that I stopped to get this mask, because I end up very much needing it. This run would have been DOA had I not gotten this mask. And you will see why, if you stick around. If you don't, then I'm sorry, and thanks for watching anyways. So that is our second mask completed. It's going to refill us to full health. Then we're going to quit out and it will take us back to the city bench. Right outside of the Soul Sanctum. So our timer says 59. Our in-game timer says 103. So they're not all that far off from each other. I wasn't really paying attention to that at the time of running. I didn't notice that there was even any time difference between the two because I was just paying attention to my live split timer, because the entire time I'm like, is it still working, or like my auto splits continuing as they should be, because it has previously messed up on me because I put in like the wrong thing for it to split on. And then it just gets stuck until you tell it to continue. So here we are moving on to the Watcher Knights. Can I do this on my first try? Nope. Second try. There we go. One of the first times ever, I opt to skip that bench. Just for like a 4-second time save. Maybe 6 seconds. I like that a lot. The dash from the wall, kill the flying guy, smash the ground guy. That was cool. Wasn't the fastest kill, but open up the door, come up here. And not the greatest Watcher Knights fight, unfortunately. My last one was pretty epic. Maybe I'll do like a super cut of my best boss fights. This Soul Warrior fight would definitely make the cut. Which I think was at like 37 minutes into this run. Stop to heal here. Because this is always a bit of a nerve-wracking fight, especially now that I have this new strategy where I dash over their head when they sword slash and hit them from behind. That was a dumb dash. I get hit by his sword so many times here, I can't even believe it. Again. Again. Stop getting hit by the sword. Yeah, that definitely could have gone way better. Don't really need this. But it is a ton of geo. 600. Do the little elevator trick here. It is definitely faster to wall jump than follow the elevator. But you gotta remember on your way down that you have to call the elevator in order to drop all the way. It's necessary. First streamer down, and here is the huge variation in the route. Because previously I would go across City of Tears, up through the city storerooms, up and around through Forgotten Crossroads, down through the acid pool into Fog Canyon to get to the teacher's archives. So instead, we're doing something entirely different. This is the entire reason that I did this run, is because I wanted to see what kind of time improvement this would have, or maybe even a time loss. I wasn't sure. It could have lost time. But I was fairly certain it wasn't going to lose time, because in my head it felt like such a faster and better way. So here I go the wrong way, because I've never done this path before, and I realize it here, and I'm like, oh, I need to go this way. So was able to correct that very quickly before it did much damage at all. I'm really pleased with this part right here, because I improv this shit. I'm like, oh, I wanna dive. Hell yeah. It just happened to work out that it killed everything in the room. So this is my first time going this way, so I'm bound to make some mistakes, land on the spikes, but am able to fix it this time. So back into the ancient basin. If you know the map at all, you might already know what I'm doing. And if not, I'm not going to spoil it. But here is the biggest mistake of the run. I forget that there are 2 buttons in the tram, and I hit the one that takes me to Kingdom's Edge, where for some reason, I thought there was 1 button, and the tram only went between Ancient Basin and Deep Nest. So when I hit that button on the right, I thought it was going to take me to Deep Nest, when I needed to hit the button on the left. So now I need to hit this button a second time to take me to Deep Nest. And if you were paying attention to the timer, it's about 20 seconds lost, maybe 30. But now we are in Deep Nest. We have the Luma Fly Lantern. So our goal is essentially just go all the way left, practically straight through Deep Nest to get to the Dreamer. Very little tricks or deviations in what we need to do. There's kind of some up and around and curving and stuff, but it's really not too bad. It's pretty straight. So at this point of the run, I'm a little bit worried because I don't know this path like at all. I've definitely gone this way in mini casual playthroughs, but it's been a very long time. So I don't really know what I'm going to encounter. I don't really know what to expect. I certainly don't know the optimal pathing. Pretty much everything you see here is fully improvised. As I'm seeing things, it might as well be my first time. I'm just going as fast as I can to get to where I know that I need to be going. And this trap here, I knew that was going to happen. Because I have been through this room several times, and I can't even believe that it got me. So, and now we are at Hera, what is usually my third and final dreamer, but we have not done Umu yet. So, one of the main things I'm worried about is how I'm going to efficiently get to Umu after this fight, because I've never done, I call it a fight. It's not a fight. How I'm gonna get to Umu after this dreamer, because I've never done them in this order before. So I have a pretty solid route in my mind. The biggest, not the biggest, but what you don't want to do is use the stag station to go to the Forgotten Crossroads, because now that we've defeated a dreamer, the Forgotten Crossroads are now infected, and they're going to be way different. And the shortcut to get to Fog Canyon through the infected crossroads is going to be far less convenient than it would be to just stag to Dirtmouth and then go from Dirtmouth to Fog Canyon. So I don't want to jinx it, but this is going really well. Just got this last enemy here we got to take care of. And he's down. Second dreamer completed. Now we just have Umu and then the final boss. So our timer does say 110. It's probably closer to 117. Maybe, approximately. So after this one, we only have one stag station left that we're going to use in the run that we have to purchase. And I don't think we even ended up using the King's Station stag station. I think we just unlocked it and never used it for anything. Oh, hitless drop. Let's go. So this is a pretty fast route. There is a trick you can do there where you crystal dash all the way across this room. I did not do it because I'm nervous. I'm busy thinking about whether or not this path is gonna save time ultimately. I take so many hits in this room, it's insane. My mind is just somewhere else at this point. But even though I took a ton of hits, ultimately it didn't cost that much time. So that's good. The tram mistake was far more costly. Safety bench, quick heal. I finally remember to equip Soul Catcher. It's the dumbest thing that I did in this run is not have that equipped. I had not many, but I had a few opportunities where I could have stopped and equipped it. And just, it never occurred to me until now. It's like, well, I'm going to need Soul at Umu. It's a good thing I did. Because this is one of the fights where it is extremely helpful. Spell Twister is also a good option for Umo. It's a really good attack. I'm not really doing the guiding Umu around strategy very well, and it really hurt right there where I missed that Descending Dark. And then I'm wasting my soul healing when I should be saving it for the attack. Because I got the extra masks, I have hits. I don't need to worry about taking damage. I'm just nervous. The nerves kind of got to me, and I wasn't thinking clearly. Overall, still a pretty good fight, but far from perfect. And that's Umo. Final Dreamer unlocked. And we are now ready to go beat the game. So if you've noticed, I have not had any panic quits. That was another main goal of this of mine in general, was to beat Steel Soul in under an hour and a half without panic quitting at all. I wanted to stay in the boss fights and not have to retry any of them, because it feels cheap and pointless to me. Like, I know it's a completely fair and viable strategy to quit out prematurely and retry the boss fight, but I didn't want to personally have to do that. I wanted to be able to stay in the boss fight and defeat them without ever quitting out while in Steel Soul mode. So the Hollow Knight currently is the only thing between me and obtaining that goal. I did have some bench warps here and there, but that's not the same thing as like quitting out mid-fight to prevent yourself from dying. And here's our last stag station of the run. The Queen Station Stag. Say goodbye to our stag friend. This is the last time we'll be seeing him. Bye, fella. Have a nice life. We'll miss you. Thanks for all the free rides. Heavy quotes on the free. So we did kind of pay for them. Alright, here it is. The moment you've all been waiting for. Dead versus the Hollow Knight. Who will win? Place your bets. And I do safety bench. But no pee break this time. Straight to the boss fight. No interruptions. No delay. Enjoy. I love that. Dodging his riposte with a descending dark. That was amazing. Grabbing some souls so I can do a quick heal before he's back in the fight. It's a dumb place to take damage. So here's where things start to go south. Take a hit, take another hit. Take another hit. Take another hit for 2 damage. I am down to 1 hit left. Things are going badly. I'm panicking. I am a second away from quitting out. And he's dead. Steel Soul mode, sub, hour 30, panic quitless, mic drop. I know it's not that amazing of a run, but I'm proud of it. I'm happy. It was a personal goal of mine. Now the next goal is somewhere around the 1 hour mark. Panic quitting is optional, but likely it's going to be required to not in order to complete that goal. There's going to be much fewer upgrades. Probably no nail upgrades, no desolate dive, no descending dark. No charms, no grubs. Just straight up do it. Do it. I'm gonna have to pick up Mothwing Cloak and Mantis Claw still. Those are required for pretty much any run. But after getting Mantis Claw, gonna have to enter the city, probably sell at Limb, go to Resting Grounds, and then pretty much immediately go to Watcher Nights and start on the Dreamers, skipping all else besides Crystal Heart. Crystal Heart is still going to be required no matter what. So we'll probably still also need the Luma Fly Lantern. Yeah. It's going to take a buttload of practice because it's an entirely different route. It's an entirely different run. Same category. Any percent Steel Soul, but yeah. Just not having the nail upgrades alone and not being able to get Fragile Strength. Everything's going to take a lot more damage, and it's going to make the run that much more dangerous. So I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed my commentary. I know it was a bit scattered. I had a lot of thoughts and not really an organized way of expressing them, but yeah, I appreciate you. I hope this helped you in one way or another. Congratulations, you played skillfully and proved you have a steel soul. We love you, Team Cherry. Keep up your awesome work. Your games are just phenomenal. 35%. 1 hour, 25 minutes, 2 seconds. The extra percent is from collecting Fury of the Fallen within the first 2 minutes of the run. So that is it for today. Hopefully I'll have something new for you guys to watch soon. Have a wonderful day.